All right, let's get right into this incredible story. We're jumping in with a party of heroes known as the Goalsbane right as their journey is about to take a seriously dark turn. They're on their way to this remote hut on a frozen lake looking for help, but what they end up finding is something much, much older and way more sinister. And this is where it all begins. You know, it's not a raging storm or some obvious danger. It's the quiet, a profound, unnerving calm. The kind of silence that feels heavy, like it's pressing in on you, like the whole world is just holding its breath, waiting for something to go terribly wrong. So, as they're walking toward this lonely little hut, things start to get really weird. A thick fog just rolls in, swallowing them up, a mist where the falling snow just disappears before it hits the ground, and then there's the sound, a loud, sharp crunching noise with every single step they take. At first, you'd think, okay, it's just ice, right? Or frozen ground cracking under their boots. But the sound, it's just not right. It's sharper, more brittle. So one of them finally kneels down, brushes away the thin layer of snow to see what's going on. What could possibly be making that noise?
The answer is, well, it's as simple as it is horrifying. The path they've been walking on, it isn't stone, it isn't dirt. It's made entirely of human remains. It's bones.
And get this. This wasn't just some ancient battlefield. No. This was deliberate. Skulls, vertebrae, rib fragments. They've all been carefully, almost artfully arranged to create a walkway. A grisly welcome mat leading them straight to the hut's front door. This path was built.
Just when they think things can't possibly get any stranger, these tiny motes of light burst out of the empty eye sockets of the skulls. They start fluttering around the party like some kind of spectral fireflies, and from them, they can hear tiny, whispering voices.
These whispers are all over the place, arguing about who the party is and why they're there. But out of all that creepy chatter, one phrase cuts through, a phrase that sets the stage for this entire mess. A deal. They've come to make a deal.
Okay, so pause right there. Because while all of this is happening to the party, one of their companions, Calypso, is waking up to a completely different and arguably worse nightmare. The story just slams the brakes and pivots to her, and it is absolutely jarring.
I mean, just look at this contrast. It's brilliant. On one side, you have the party stepping towards what seems like a sanctuary. On the other, Calypso is literally hanging over a pit of death. They're in a quiet mist. She's being torn apart by freezing wind. Two horrible realities happening at the exact same time. So she wakes up, totally disoriented, hanging upside down. She looks up and sees familiar winter stars, which is terrifying because she's never seen them in winter. And then she hears it, that low growl from the darkness below. Suddenly, the pit just explodes with hundreds of these leathery winged monsters called cloakers. And rising from this swarm of monsters is something far worse, a truly massive cloaker with a rider on its back. A dark elf with sharp features and long white hair, just circling her like a shark. He is clearly the one in charge of this floating hell.
And we see just how cruel this guy is. Immediately. With this chilling little smile, he pulls out a knife, but he doesn't throw it at Calypso. He throws it at another prisoner, cutting her loose. As the woman screams and plummets, his monster's tail just whips out, snatches her from the air, and drags her down into the darkness. It's a cold, calculated display of absolute power. Meanwhile, let's snap back to the party. Remember, they have no idea any of this is happening to Calypso. For them, the hut's door has just creaked open, and a shriveled hand has beckoned them to come inside. So they do. They step into the supposed sanctuary. And the feeling inside is exactly this, a spider's web. The hut is impossibly bigger on the inside, and it smells of rot and herbs all at once. A young, beautiful woman offers them warm tea, but the vibe is just all wrong. It's too calm, too perfect. It feels like a trap. And then comes the moment where all the little alarm bells in their heads start screaming. The woman, this maiden of the lake, she greets them. And she knows their names. Every single one. Without any introduction. Yeah, this is no friendly herbalist. This is when she gets down to business. She starts making offers, going down the line, and tailoring a specific bargain for each member of the Goalsbane. And she's good. She preys on their deepest desires, their greatest fears, and their most desperate hopes.
And this is where you really see their character under pressure. Talenor, he's pragmatic. He agrees to give his blood for help against their enemies. Roberto? Oh man, he hears he can get Calypso back, and he agrees to give blood and an unnamed favor without even blinking. But the others, Okozaki, Thane, and Cedric, they all refuse. They can sense that the real price is way too high.
The second Roberto agrees, bam, the hut's door swings open, and there she is, Calypso, pulled from that flying prison and dropped right on their doorstep, shaken but alive. It is an absolutely shocking display of power, undeniable proof that this maiden's bargains are terrifyingly real. As they're getting ready to leave, they manage to coax one last piece of information out of her about someone named Henrik. And her words are just bone-chilling. She talks about him being tethered to something otherworldly. This one line freezes Talenor right in his tracks. So Talenor turns back, and he reminds the woman of her promise to help them. Her sweet smile just twists into something ancient and cruel, and in that one instant the entire deception shatters. So, the Maiden of the Lake? Yeah, there never was one. She's a hag, an ancient and powerful being named Mother Mary. The cozy little hut melts away, the walls stretching into a vast, cold stone corridor. The trap is sprung. Chaos just erupts. But this isn't a fight, not really. Before they can even fully react, Mother Mary unleashes her true power. She doesn't even bother fighting them. With a simple, contemptuous flick of her fingers, she puts Stain into a deep, magical sleep and then just vanishes, gone. And this is what she leaves them with. The hag is gone, but Thane is still there, completely unconscious, trapped in some violent magical nightmare. They can't wake him up, they have no idea where she went or what she's done to him. And this is the horrifying irony they're left with. They just made a deal with a monster to save one friend, only to immediately lose another friend to that very same monster. Now they're trapped in her lair. One of them is down for the count, and the real enemy is nowhere to be found. It just leaves you asking, what could they possibly do now?